The wedding hall sparkled with golden candles, white roses skipping around marble pillars, and silk drapes flowing from the high ceiling. The guests dressed in their finest whisper behind jeweled fans and crystal glasses of. It was the event of the cheers, the wedding of Jian Jungkook, the powerful year of the Jian Empire at the altar. Jungkook stood like a storm, contained in the black suit, his shoulders broad, jaw and sharp, and eyes dark enough to pierce through anyone who dared to meet him. The air around him felt heavy, suffocating. Even without moving, he commanded silence, fear, and respect. People called him many things, ruthless, cold, untouchable, but the word that clung to him most was monster. And yet here he was waiting for his bride. Music filled the air. The doors opened and gasps echoed as the bride walked in, wheels shimmering under the lights. She was beautiful, fragile, with trembling hands clutching a bouquet. Beside her, her father held her arm, gilding her on the hazel, but Jungkook's sharp eyes catch the truth. The way her lips trembled, the way her chest rose and fell in panic. She was not walking toward him, she was walking toward her doom. Halfway down the hill, she stopped. The music faltered, the silence grew deafening. The yawn, her father whispered urgently, "Keep walking." But the yawn just having her eyes straight to Jungkook's unreadable expression, and then suddenly she dropped her bouquet, the petals scratching across the marble. I her voice cracked, trembled as it carried to the hall. "I can't do this." Gasped interrupted. Guest leaned forward, stern. Jungkook's eyes narrowed, his fist tightened. "I won't marry a monster," Tion screamed, echoed like a gunshot before she turned and bolted, wheel flying behind her, heels glittering against the marble as she ran out of the hall. Disrupted, did she just? She called him a monster. This is a disaster. Whisper, laughter, and scandal spread like wildfire. But at the altar, Jungkook stood frozen. Every muscle looked tightened. His pride cracked under the weight of humiliation. His bride had just run away in front of hundreds of witnesses, and was she had named him a monster. His jaw clenched so hard his teeth ached, his hands clutched into fist nails digging into his palms. No one humiliated Jian Jungkook, no one. His cold gaze swept across the room. Guest looked away, terrifying of meeting his eyes, and then he saw you, Ryan Kim. You were sitting in the front row, dressed in a soft vessel gown, your hands gripping your dress tightly, shock painted on your face. You were not the bride, you were not supposed to be part of this disaster. You were simply the younger sister, the one always in the background. But tonight, Jungkook's dark gaze locked onto you, and your blood ran cold. He began walking down the hill, not towards the door where his bride had filled, but towards you. Gas gaped and scrambled out of his path. Each step he took echoed like thunder until he stood before you. Your heart hammered, Mr. Chian. His voice was slow, deeply calm. Your sister humiliated me in front of everyone. Do you think I will let this slide? Your father stumbled forward, sweat glistening on his forehead. Mr. Chian, please, would you not now? She would silence. Jungkook's sharp voice cut him off. His dark eyes never let you. If your elder daughter refuse me, then your younger daughter will take her place. Your breath catch. What the hell? Erupted in murmurs. He can't, not the younger one. This is madness. Your mother clutched your father's arm, shaking her head desperately. Please, she's too young. She's not prepared. Jungkook's tone was like steel. Do you think I care? I don't wait. I don't forgive. She will marry me tonight. Your lips trembled as tears filled your eyes. I can't. I'm not. She's had shut out, gripping your wrist tightly. You gasped at the strength in his hold. His face was inches from yours. His voice a low growl. Do you want me to destroy your family, Ryan? Because I can. One word from me and your father's company collapses, your family loses everything. Is that what you want? Your parents dropped to their knees, begging, please have Mary, please have mercy. The world spun around you, your sister had joined, your parents were helpless, and now the weight of your family's survival pressed onto your trembling shoulder. With a shaking breath, you whispered, I will marry you. Jungkook's lips curved, not into a smile but into something darker, victorious, good. He pulled you to your feet, dragging you towards the altar. The officials mattered, unsure what to do, but one sharp glare from Jungkook silenced him. The ceremony resumed, but instead of Taeyang, the trembling bride at his side was shown. You stood at the altar, your hands cold and clammy, your chest tightening with every passing second. Jungkook's presence beside you was suffocating, his aura sharp enough to cut. To you, Van Kim, Taekji, and Jungkook, your lawful husband, your lips quilled, your voice barely escaped. I do. Jungkook's gaze was locked on you as he slid the ring onto your finger, his grip firm, his eyes staring you to resist. I take you as mine, he said, voice like ice. When the officiant declared you husband and wife, Jungkook leaned close, his breath brushing your ear as he whispered words that made your blood freeze. You belong to me now, and unlike your sister, you won't escape. The apologies was unequal force. The guest avoided your eyes already, whispering about the scandal. The runway bride was forgotten. The unwilling bride had taken her place. The black car was silent. The city lights streaking past the window. You sat stiffly, your hands clenched in your lap, tears burning your eyes. Beside you, Jungkook sat relaxed, one hand resting on the seat, his profile unreachable. Finally, you found the courage to whisper, why me? His head turned slowly, his gaze spinning you like prey. Because you are here, because you are here, hurts, and because I don't lose. Your throat tightened. You hate me already. His lips curved faintly, not a smile, not warmth, but something cold. No, I don't hate you, but don't accept love either. You are mine now, and whatever you want it or not. You just edge your world shattering with each word. The city lights blurred. Each mile carried you further from your old life, deeper into the cage of the man the world called a monster. And as the mansion gate opened, you realized with sinking tread, your life was no longer yours, it belongs to him. The candles of your mantis lamp shone behind you, echoing through the cold marble halls. Your heart jumped and felt the weight of a fate you never asked for, pressing down like chains. The golden embroidery of your wedding dress felt like shackles making your freedom. Jungkook walked ahead without a word, his tall frame shift, hands clutched his jaw said, sharp like the monster your sister had called him in front of the entire town, and now you were his wife. The room he led you into was enormous walls covered with dark velvet crepes, a Thrills hanging like a frozen constellation, but instead of feeling like a bridal suit, it felt like a cage. Jungkook turned his dark eyes, landing on you. For the first time, you noticed this storm within them, anger, humiliation, but also something where you should thank me. His voice was low, almost dangerous. If it were not for me, your family would be ruined after what your sister did. You trembled. Thank you for trapping me in a marriage I never wanted. His charge heightened. Would you rather I had left your family to rot under the shame she gazed? You had no reply. His sweat cut you because they were not entirely false. Still, the bitterness clawed at you. Go to sleep, he muttered coldly, shaking off his pleasure. He will need strength to survive in his house. He lay on one side of the messy bed, back turned. Shukal on the protest edge, hugging your knees, silent tears soaking in your pillow, and yet deep down something told you behind his monstrous anger there was pain. The mansion was a labyrinth, and the staff looked at you with pity, whispering, followed whenever you walked the wrong. Sister married him at breakfast. Jungkook sat across from you, sharp in his tailored suit. He hardly looked up, speaking only to the butler eat, he ordered one size, flicking briefly at your untouchable plate. I am hungry, you whispered. His gaze hundred striving yourself was not change your reality. You slammed your spoon down and controlling me won't change yours. For the first time his marks cracked. He looked wounded, almost like a boy who's been called a monster one too many times. One evening you found him in the study surrounded by papers. The room smelled of whiskey and ink. Why are you always wounded in work? You asked before you could stab yourself. You did not look up because when I stopped the voice get louder. You froze voices. He finally met your eyes, not literally ones, that kind that remind me I will never be enough, that no matter what I bullied, people will still see me as a monster. You just had you remembered your sister's word at the altar, the cruel way she had laughed. Maybe Jungkook was not heartless, maybe he was just broken. Days turned into weeks, you still fought, you still resisted, but moments began to shift. He started leaving an extra cup of tea on the table for you in the mornings. Never admitted it was for you, but always you. His clothed a maid once, harshly when she muttered something cruel about you, and one stormy night when thunder rooted the mansion, you wake to find him draping a blanket over you. I'm not your sister, you whispered, half asleep. Don't push me for her choices. His hand froze. For the first time, his voice was softer. I know. One evening he returned home late, drenched in rain. He rushed forward without thinking, grabbing a towel. Why do you care? He asked out, his eyes softened at your touch. Because despite everything, you are my husband now, you said quietly, and maybe I don't see a monster when I look at you. He still for once the cold mark slipped entirely, and just like that, the invisible wall between you cracked, if only slightly. See that again, Jungkook's voice was quieter this time, almost dangerous. His eyes, usually sharp and unreadable, softened just a fraction, as though he was not sure he had heard correctly. You swallowed, forcing yourself to hold his gaze. I don't think you are a monster, Jungkook. Silence. The room was so still you could hear your own heartbeat hammering in your chest. Something flickered across his expression, confusion, disbelief, maybe even longing, but just as quickly the mask was back, his lips curved in a harmless smile. You will regret saying that. Why? He whispered. Because people who believe in me, he pushed, stepping closer always and upward. Your breath catch as he reached out almost hesitantly and brushed a steady strand of hair from your face. His touch was surprisingly gentle, but his eyes carried storm. Then hurt me. You You did before you could stop yourself. At least I will now. I was not wrong about you. Jacob froze again, his jaw tightened as if he was betting something within himself. Slowly he drew back his hand, showing it into his pocket instead. You don't know what you are asking for. You shook your head. I know you are not heartless, Jungkook. If you were, you would not be standing here listening to me. His throat moved as he swallowed hard. For a moment, he looked like a man carrying too many ghosts. Finally, he let out a bitter laugh. Careful, Ryan. Keep talking like this, and you will make me believe you actually want this marriage. Your lips parted, but no words came. Your lips parted, but no words came because maybe, just maybe, you did what it now. At least the version of him that had slipped through the cracks tonight. Get it? I will continue the story exactly from where you left. Ryan. Jungkook's voice was slow, almost unrecognizable, carrying something softer than anger. It made your heart turn, though you quickly looked away. You did not want to be tricked by his tune again. Still for once the cold mark slipped entirely, and just like that, the invisible wall between you two cracked, if only slightly. Ryan Jungkook's voice was low, almost unrecognizable, carrying something softer than anger. It made your heart thud, though you quickly looked away. You did not want to be tricked by his tune again. I don't want to talk, you whispered, hugging yourself, ready to leave the study. But before you could take another step, his hand shot out and grabbed your wrist, not in the brutal, crushing away your fear, but firm enough that you froze. His sad blood tear falling over his eyes. You think I'm a monster, don't you? The question was variable. It did not sound like the Jungkook everyone else feared. It sounded like a man who's been called this word too many times. You just tightened the image of your sister screaming that very word during the wedding flashed before your eyes. You swallowed hard. You act like one. You finally said. You don't listen, you don't care about anyone else's eyes. You destroyed my life just because you could not accept rejection. His chocolate silent fills the room, thick and suffocating. He let go he let go of your wrist slowly, as if your words had cut deeper than he wanted to admit. For a moment you thought he had shall break something or walk out, but instead he leaned back against the desk and closed his eyes, breathing. When he opened them again, there was a flicker, something almost human. Maybe I don't know how to be anything else, he murmured, but I never wanted you to hate me. Your throat went dry. This was not the cold mafia boss. This was the ruthless Jungkook everyone warned you about. This was the man behind the walls, showing a crack in his armor, and it terrified you more than his anger ever did. She turned towards the door, whispering only loud enough for him to hear, then prove it. Without waiting for his response, you walked out, leaving him in the dim study, staring after you, fist clenched, as if he had just been given an impossible challenge. He did not move, not immediately. Your footsteps faded down the hall, and still Jungkook stood frozen in the study, his fist trembling at his sides. Prove it, the words echoed in his head like a dare, like a cruel taunt, but also like the fist flickered thread of hope. For years, people had only ever seen him as a monster, lessons called dangerous, and he had worn that label like armor until even he believed it was true. But you, his reluctant bride, you had not asked him for apologies or excuse. You had demanded proof, proof that he could be more. The rest of the night passed in silence. Jacob did not come to your room, did not knock your door. But sleep did not come for him either. He lay awake, staring at the ceiling, your broken voice replying in his mind. By morning the household buzzed as usual, but something stubble had shifted. The Moritz whispered as Jungkook stayed past, not because of his usual sharp glare, but because for the first time he did not break order of demand perfection. Instead, he pushed. When one of the younger staff nearly spilled a tray of tea, his hand shot out not to push punch but to steady it. The maid froze, wide eyes, expecting anger. Careful Jungkook muttered his tone rough but not cruel. Then he walked away. It was small, insufficient maybe, but it was a start. At breakfast, you said shiftily, not daring to meet his gaze. You were still reeling from last night. Your own boldness, the raw flash of something in his eyes that was not angusted, something that made your heart stop. He sat down across from you and quietly, almost awkwardly, he said it. Your folk covered mirror, but his jaw tightened. He looked anywhere but at you. You barely touched your foot yesterday. It was not a request, but it also was not the sharp command of a man used to obedience. It was something else entirely. Me concern wrapped in steel. You lowered your gaze, your chest tightening. This was not proof yet, not even close, but maybe, just maybe, it was the first crack in his armor. To be continued.